3.
Hello, Alisa Goodwin Snell. Okay, we've got another letter for you.
Okay.
I have got so many letters for you. People asking for dating advice. Clearly, they're not the only ones who realize that you are the nation's #1 dating and relationship expert. And I get to work with you. Woohoo!
Yay,
Okay,
and I get to do what I love.
so today there's so much going on online, and so that's why I went ahead and picked this one. It's just really simple, but I know that you've got great advice for this. We only have 10 minutes to chop it into, some palatable pieces, but she writes, is there a better way to write my online profile to attract the right people? I'm striking out. Sincerely, not a baseball fan.
Not a baseball fan.
I guess she's tired of striking out.
Yeah. Well, the hard thing about this, sorry, I'm just going to cough. Hopefully that means I won't sound so, deep-throated. Anyway, okay, so here's the thing. It's because she's a woman, my advice is going to be different. And I hate to say it, what she's going to say in her message is important, but it's really her pictures that's probably killing her more than anything else. So the first thing she needs to do is look closely at those pictures. She probably does not have one professional photo where she's got great lighting and it's portraying her in the right kind of way that's warm and inviting. And I know people are opposed to professional pictures sometimes, but that's because they are expecting the kind of professional pictures that, really look really fake, because there's a black screen behind them, there's a white screen or a white wall, or they're in front of all these flowers that look like they're out in the country somewhere or whatever. So please, when you get pictures, go to a public place where you could possibly meet someone for a date. With the photographer I work with, it goes with people to some of the outdoor mall areas that are really beautiful and have a lot of neat architectural kinds of backdrops. But it gives you the feeling that this picture could have been taken while on the town with friends. But you've got the better camera, you've got the better lighting, you've got somebody who's going to position your body and your lighting in a way that is going to make a difference. So as an example of this, I have got the reason why I do these recordings in my office is because I have 2 great windows right here that cast a great amount of indirect light on my face. It's not direct sunlight, so I don't have any harsh lighting. I don't have harsh shadows. It gives me that indirect lighting and it makes a big difference. This is where you're going to see the true reality of what I'm going to look like without that. You can see in the contrast and the harshness of the lighting and in the shading, you can see more of my bags, you can see more of my flaws, and then you get even more like this and it's just not flattering. And all of a sudden I'm a different woman who my flaws are less obvious. So understanding lighting and how to position for a more effective look is a good thing. Plus, a lot of times people are very self-conscious about how they look because they're used to seeing themselves in an iPhone that's taken too low or in other angles that really accentuate the wrong things. And you need to realize you're more beautiful than you think you are because you're not seeing yourself as other people see you. You're seeing yourself as a flat image is showing you. So let the photographer do what she's good at, and that is to portray you as you really are. You're not lying when you're using good lighting. So first off, get some great pictures. Also intermix, you need some full body pictures so people know that, they have the opportunity to embrace you as you are and they won't be surprised. But there's a difference between how you stand in a way that makes you look less feminine versus what makes you look more feminine. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Let the photographer do her job. Second, because this is a woman, after you have some great pictures, some full body pictures, some real likability pictures, now what you're saying in your profile, they may actually read it. Without great pictures, they're not even going to click. They're not going to click. They're not going to read. They're not going to move on if they don't think they're interested. Right or wrong, we can think it's totally shallow and wrong that a guy is visually oriented, but it is what it is. That's the way their brains work, and it starts there for them. So put your best foot forward and trust that the kind of person you're looking for will see and value it. Just do your part. Then when we move on to the profile, we want to start in a warm, inviting way. No negative messaging in your profile message. If you're a jerk, you know, I've been through bad things, be gentle with my heart. I finally am trying this, I'm looking for somebody who is honest, true, chaste, benevolent, virtuous, and, or whatever that is, or what's the Boy Scout motto? Do you know the Boy Scout motto, Kelly?
You're asking the wrong Boy Scout. I'm sorry.
I know, but what is it? My husband could say it. But anyway, when you have a long list,
we just lost all of the Boy Scout viewers. Okay, they are so disappointed in us right now.
I know. So the problem is that when you put a long list of what you're looking for out there, it's a push away. When you do negatives, it's a push away. When you send a message that is just informational with no emotional warmth or engagement, it's a stalemate message. What's a stalemate message? Where there's a little bit of inviting, or it feels like maybe you like me, but then there's also the breaks. And a good example of this is saying something like, yeah, that would be nice to go do that with you. That's not an invitation. That is at best a stalemate message. When I say something like, I would love to go do that with you, invitation for closeness. I'm bringing you close. I'm inviting you close. So a lot of times what women are failing at is bringing emotion into their profile, bringing emotion into the messages that they're sending. They will send messages to someone. My throat is just going to be cracky this whole time. They will send messages to someone that is so stale and flat and void of emotion. Men understand that they are the pursuers in dating and relationships, or at least in that initial phase, and they do appreciate and enjoy being the pursuer. But they want somebody who's warm and engaging to pursue. A woman who touches a guy and says, I'm so glad I got a chance to meet you, and she smiles and touches him on the arm and takes his hand and does a double-handed handshake with her hand on top of his. This is so great to meet you. Inviting. A woman who does just the firm business handshake, I don't know how to read that. A woman who kind of slaps the guy on the arm and teases him like a buddy, I don't know how to read that. A woman who's cold, I mean, the other is at least a mixed message. They don't know exactly how to read it. But this, complete push away message. There's no,
how do
I'm not showing any interest.
How do we do that verbally in the profile then? How do we touch them on the arm more verbally?
Yes. So it's all in the language, right? So if I use words like, so in a profile message, I need to use emotion words. So if I say things like, I'm a positive person who loves being around others and looks forward to new adventures. I have a bucket list of fun things I'd like to try this summer. Join me! Exclamation point, right? Several emotion words and a clear invitation at the end. Join me. So I'm a positive person who loves being around people and the challenges of meeting new people and getting to know people. I've got a bucket list of fun things I'd like to try this summer. Join me. Let's have fun. Right? Exclamation. Emotion word, emotion word, emotion word. It's warm, it's clear, it's inviting. So let me give you an example. A client of mine, I've been helping her for a while with the accountability of doing her online profile and online messages. And the challenge is it is difficult. People complain about online. But a lot of times the reason they're not getting results is because their technique is off. They need a better technique. And so anyway, so I was working with her for a while. We had already done her pictures. She had amazing pictures. And we'd done a great profile. She was getting several people who were sending messages saying, oh, I loved your profile. You're so articulate and things like that. But when I was going into her inbox and I was looking at the messages she was sending to guys, And do you send messages, ladies? You definitely can, and I'll explain the benefit of that if we have time. I think we're almost already to our 10-minute limit. So all of this information is in the Lasting Love Academy. When you decide to join, you're going to be overwhelmed with how many amazing things you can learn. And so you can learn more there, but I'll keep it brief. We're going to be wrapping up here in a minute. So anyway, so finishing the story, this client, I went into her sent box of all of the messages she had sent to guys, and I just simply looked at the ones who had never responded to her first message. And
wait, are we inviting people to hire you to respond to their inbox?
Well,
I want you to do that for me, Alisa.
Well, that's why I get paid when I get paid, because I'm good at it and I get results. But so anyway, so I went in and I looked at the messages and communications back and forth with the guys that she had already been communicating with. And her initial messages, even though I'd been trying to get her to warm it up, more emotion words, warm it up, her initial messages were really kind of more weak, kind of a weak invitation with a little weak push away. Like, I don't know how to interpret when you say, hey, that's a neat picture of you, you know, fishing. It's a neat picture. Or, hey, what a fun, amazing day, you know, exclamation. Or, you know, more emotion words, more enthusiasm. You can't take a chance with wimpy words. You've got to be more warm, clear, and direct. So anyway, so when I went in, her attempts to warm it up were, they were getting better, but they weren't quite there. So anyway, I simply said to her, she was about ready to give up, and she felt like, you know, she wasn't finding people she was interested in, but she had this sent list of all these guys that she had found that she was interested. She had already sent them some kind of a message. So all I had to do was go into her sent box and send a follow-up message. They'd been months on these messages. This is all I did. I went into her sent box. I said, you seem adorable, exclamation point in the subject. And then I just simply said some simple thing about their profile or a picture, or just simply, you seem adorable. It would be great to get to know you, winky face, right? Or it'd be amazing to get to know you, or I'd love to get to know you, winky face. That's all I did. And she had 4 guys who responded. 4 guys that had never responded to her previously now did, simply because I was sending a more warm, inviting message. It's that big of a difference. Now, the problem with my clients is they overthink it and they say, well, that's not really my personality. That's not really this. I'm like, you know what? You got to think more about the effect you're trying to create. What is the emotion you're trying to create? Do you want to make people feel great? Do you want to give them an experience that helps them to feel connected? If that's your goal, do what it takes to get the job done, not because you're insincere. You are sincere. You want to connect in a meaningful way, and you want to make people feel great. It's just you're getting in the way because of your shyness and your insecurities. Let the techniques help you make the connections you're not making. And if you think what you're doing is working, why are you watching this video? Right? You're watching this video because what you're doing isn't working. You've got to do something different and be honest with yourself about the fact that what you're doing is not getting the results you're looking for. And, you know, we've got to try something different. This world suffers from a tremendous lack of meaningful connections. And a lot of that is because we're too afraid to be warm, clear, direct, fun, and make people feel great. We stay to ourselves, and there is no harm in being warm, clear, direct, and keeping the goal about having fun and making people feel great and creating a less pressure-filled environment. Me saying, you seem adorable, when, you know, he literally does seem like just a really awesome, great guy. There's no harm in that. There's no commitment in me saying you seem adorable. It's a sweet compliment. And that's the equivalent of me touching him on the arm if I was face to face and making that eye contact and saying, I'm so glad I got to meet you.
Home
so
run.
Kelly, thoughts?
That's a home run. That sounds awesome. I've got to go respond to like 20 guys right now.
I want to know how it goes. You're going to have to report back. So,
all right. Well, we better wrap this up, Alisa.
Yes.
You've been very generous with your time on this one. We really appreciate you. Everybody out there who's watching this, please go to lastingloveacademy.com. You only have one thing to lose, and that's love.
Bye, y'all.